Richard Goatman Gautier with Team Naxja, Petty Cash Racing, racing the 4643 Jeep Cherokee and Ultra 4, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
You'll soon be out of breath. Take my hand. the difference. I've gathered all my human force to help you save yourself. Listen to me, stay by my side, believe in me. I'm so that despite any strife, I won't give up, it is my fate. I will not let you spoil your life. This path could well be all you get. I pray the gods are all that cares. For you are not everyone's free. Alive at last in my embrace, on the right side of sanity.
Good evening. You're listening to the XJ Talk Show pre-show. I'm busy kind of doing things, so I kind of stumbled there for a second. Welcome to the pre-show. Josh has joined us. Josh, you were calling earlier right when I was coming back in with the laptop so we can do our You Bought and What tonight. So
I got it.
So I don't know if you saw the question I put in the notes, but 34A was last week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and I thought I had uploaded it to new opener.
Oh,
so
okay.
It should be coming in there just anything now.
Well, in the show notes, it said 34A, which is what I still have on the board. So let me have another look.
35A is uploading. Yeah, I've got a bad echo. Let me go right back.
Okay. And we get that from time to time using Skype. Josh just said he was calling back, and I was surprised when I saw somebody calling on Skype. That just shows you how busy I am right now.
There, that sounds a lot better.
How long ago did you put that in Dropbox?
A few minutes.
Okay, well, ain't there yet. Let me do a quick audio test here on our call-in line.
All right.
Yep. Got to turn on the equipment.
Conference muted.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
All right, how about now? Oh, that's not. Hold on.
Oh, good. That's you.
Check. There we go. All right, that's better.
So just in case you guys and here in the live audience are not familiar with what's going on, I'll tell you real quick. We start broadcasting about 15 minutes prior to the show time. That gives us a opportunity to play a little music, and Josh gets connected in. We talk about what's going to happen on the show, a little pre-show fun, if you will. And after the show, we've stopped recording for the podcast, there'll be some post-show, and we chat up a little bit. Sometimes the conversation doesn't always stop whenever the show's over, so Josh and I sometimes chat. We will chat with members of the audience that are making comments in the YouTube Live. So if you are not a live viewer and you just happen to be catching this recording on YouTube, you can join us Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Central Time, and get in on the pre-post and chat.
Oh, yeah, and of course, there's always some good stuff going on in the chat.
I had somebody on Facebook send me a chat message about, I guess, around 9 o'clock saying, is there a show tonight?
Well, of course there's a show tonight.
Well, there had been no notifications. So
Oh, I see.
some mild panic, which was always great to hear.
Arms in the air, flailing around, running in circles, yes.
Yeah, and that was me trying to remember how to type.
Yeah.
So we have a Nikki G. If you haven't read through the notes there, we have a Nikki G voicemail. We have a Bastard Pack, this one with audio. If you remember, Steve sent me one 9 minutes long,
that's right.
without audio.
I bet he was just all sorts of distraught over that.
I bet you he was happy as a lark, because that was at least 10 minutes of his life that he couldn't get back, and I'm sure there was some more time in there that he was doing some editing, because his sound doesn't mysteriously disappear. So
yeah. I'm hoping this has got a little something to do with one of his recent posts on xjtalk.com. He's got a Bastard Pack thread started up there, and if any of that information is in this Jeep Tips, it's going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, Steve's always full of good, useful information. He's got a nice level head on him too, so doesn't get upset with questions.
Well, it makes a good balance for you and I.
Okay, so I have the show opener 34A. And let's see, I don't need this. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Actually, it's too long. It actually says we wish you a Merry Christ.
Whoops.
And if you have to have a Christ, it's always good to have a merry one. Don't want them angry and pushing tables down and running the people out of the temple that are selling things. I think I need to get some more intros. I have these measly 6.
Is that all we got? I could have sworn we had more than that.
The first one, which is the Tony and Josh, welcome Tony Josh, the On the Air, Hey Stud, which is still my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And the 2 Spanish, the one in Spanish, the one with the Spanish accent, and then the one that we added last week that I finally got around to editing at your incorrect name that he had on there, nickname from XJ Talk. You know, I don't know why you just wouldn't change it so I wouldn't have to edit it, but that's okay.
Oh, jeez, I'm such a bad guy. How dare I?
Hell, as long as you have some remorse, that's something. Let's see. So, you bought in what? I guess I need to update the notes. What you're looking at there in the notes is what we had on the list last week. I think it's because of the post-Christmas purchasing. We only had about 5 items purchased since the 26th, which would be the last time that we got this list. So I just took the list from our last time, which left the marks and stuff in it. The highlights of the ones that we read. At least I believe we did. I guess we could repeat them. I don't guess it hurt anything.
Well, I actually deleted the ones that we had already talked over or talked about or used or whatever. It's just so we weren't going to repeat them. So I've got a few choice ones there highlighted in green that I was going to grab. If you want to...
No, it's fine. You can have first choice.
All right.
Worst case is I can always hit the mute button and steal it from you.
There we go.
See the eyes get big and the picture in the picture. What the hell are you doing, man? Hey, I was listening to the teaser that Dan had up for the 4x4 podcast, and I was surprised to hear Josh promoting xjtalk.com and the 4x4 podcast. And I thought to myself, you need to look at your contract because you can't be off doing these promotional things without prior authorization. I don't know what you might say.
Oh, yes. I'm such a loose cannon, aren't I?
And I'll start bragging. Let's see. Did you see there towards the bottom of the list, the Rubicon Express?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's always fun to see people buying stuff on Amazon that's for an off-road. I'm fairly sure that's probably for a Jeep, but who knows?
Got to be.
Well, it's an RE 1310. I guess we could look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, let's see. Any idea what that one is? I just highlighted it in the notes.
I don't know exactly. I'm guessing it's an ATV item or something like that.
Ooh, quick grill.
Oh yeah, it's a motorcycle.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suzuki DL650,
Well,
aka the V-Strom.
Giving it away, man. People are gonna want to be watching for some reason, and now you're giving it away. Okie dokie. Well, that's kind of hokey. Anyway, you got that one?
Yes.
thought we read this one. I think I read this one. I did read that one.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
I just think I didn't highlight it. Yeah, I can if we dupe some stuff, no big deal.
Yeah. Well, hang tight, folks, who are listening there in our pre-show audience. Tony and I are just putting up the finishing wraps on the pre-show here on our show notes and whatnot. And we'll get going here in just a second.
Yeah, we will be having call-in tonight because we're going to be doing a Amazon You Bought and What contest. So get your telephones ready. If you're watching the show on your phone, then you're kind of screwed. I mean, if you can do watch the video and make a call, then that's great. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed.
Need to have one of them fancy spangled smartphone thingies.
Okie dokie. Well, I think we're ready.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Oakley dokley, here we go.
We interrupt this broadcast for a breaking XJ Talk News Bulletin. Sources say 3 generations of black Cherokees parked in the same parking lot together right next to each other is a sign of the apocalypse. The world is obviously coming to an end. What you can do about it coming up right after this.
Hey, stud. It's time for the XJ Talk Show. Now, here's my 2 favorite boys, Tony and Josh.
Well, welcome to episode 111. That's like 111, I think, Josh.
I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. I can't quite read tonight.
I couldn't read last night either, so I think it's a daily thing. So my name's Tony. You can know me as Mutteroy on xjtalk.com, which is, of course, the reason why we're here. We're trying to help promote the, I don't know why we would have to promote the premier Jeep Cherokee site in the world, the wide world web, but we're doing it anyway. So that's why we're here, letting everybody know about the forum, the Jeep Cherokee forum. And it does not include, at least not yet, the 2014 Jeep Cherokee. Oh, woe is me. If there was ever a sign of the apocalypse, that would be it.
Yeah, no doubt. We're holding our breath and trying to hold out from adding that thread to the forum for as long as we possibly can. I think one of our members eventually is going to get one of those things and force us to do it, and begrudgingly, we're going to have to.
Well, I'll be nice to them. You know, it's not like it's a liberty. Actually, it's worse.
It is. Let's be honest with ourselves now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I wonder if we're going to have any more Jeep Cherokee 2014 information on the This Week in Jeep, because that's been kind of a reoccurring theme. You know, last week we talked about how Jeep Cherokee sales were topping Wrangler sales.
I know. God, that was a sad episode there. And folks, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little bit of a pre-warning now. Tonight's This Week in Jeep is not much better. So, yeah, I'm gonna once again apologize in advance for the news that I'm going to be bringing to you guys here in just a little while. I got a bunch of other stuff we're going to share with you guys tonight in episode 111. We've got some more of the story of my stolen car. Of course, This Week in Jeep. We've got a few stories there to share with you as well. Got some stuff about a Jeep build that's been going on in my neighborhood that I've been having a hand on. And, of course, we've got the final You Bought and What contest. And, folks, like I said, final. That's right. All good things must come to an end, kiddies. And on this episode, we close the chapter on a long-time running twist of our favorite game. Now, although the Amazon You Bought What segment will probably continue, it seems I have begun to master my grasp upon the English language, and I'm breaking my old habit of saying boughten, at least for now, at least. And it's even harder to beat the giveaway back on our 100th episode. Man, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't put boughten to rest in style and get you guys to call in if I fail one last time. So get your pens and pencils or crayons or lipstick out, whatever you want to write with. Stop licking the windows and grab something to write on, because you're going to need to have these numbers. Our live call-in line for tonight, here's the numbers, guys. Area code 267-507-0240. And the secret code that you're going to need to actually connect with us is 219-835. So once again, that's 267-507-0240, and the code 219-835.
Now, this isn't the end of our contest. It's just the end of the You Bought and What contest. And for you members that are listening and watching live, you will see that I just put up the call-in number that Josh just gave you. If you're listening to the podcast or you're watching the YouTube after the live broadcast and you're a little confused about how you can call in, well, you can't, because show's over.
Yeah, that's right. We do have a 24/7 voicemail line that you guys can give us a call and speak your mind, give us a piece of that mind, or share any other thoughts that you might have. And, well, like we mentioned our last episode, heck, we even like the drunk dialing voicemails we get every now and again. Yes. Now, that voicemail line, we'll go ahead and give it out right now. It's 530-675-4102.
And by the way, I think I speak for you, Josh, we don't get enough drunk dialing females calling in.
No, certainly not. In fact, we'd love to hear more of the drunk dialing females. So, guys, go ahead and get your girls all liquored up and just hand them the cell phone and see what happens.
Yes. Now, as I was mentioning, we have the call-in number that's up on the screen. If you want to be involved in some of our contests in the future, you'll need to be here live with us on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Central Time. You can, if you go on over to YouTube, YouTube/user/xjtalk, you can subscribe to our channel, and I think it gives us it should give you notifications about the shows every 10 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, if I didn't already mention that 3 times.
Yeah, and in fact, not only should you, but you absolutely should subscribe, and tell a friend and have them subscribe as well. Our subscriptions have been increasing, so you guys are doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we're well over 300 now, Josh. 327, I believe, is what it was at right before we got on the show tonight. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, it really has gone up. We hit 300 by Christmas, so it's slowly increasing. But of course, if you tell your friends, and what we might do, how the contest is kind of counterproductive as far as telling a friend. Maybe what we should do is come up with some contest where you can win a prize from your friend. So you have to have somebody come in to the show, and if they win the prize, then they can nominate one of the other people that aren't listening.
Well, I just got a great idea, Tony. I know this is completely out of script, but it's just such an ingenious thought. I'm going to have to share it live on the air, and in the spirit in which the idea you just came up with here, I like the idea of giving something away to a specific person. And that person would be the one who gets the most people to call into our voicemail line and give them a shout out. So let's say, we've got Billy Bob out there, and he's got 23 friends that have managed to call our voicemail line and mention Billy Bob's name somewhere in the voicemail. And at the end of the month or whatever our period of time would be, we end up with, the person that has the most voicemails with their name in it, and they get a prize, which is undetermined at this point.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways we can do things. Certainly this You Bought and What Amazon giveaway was a lot of fun and brilliant, if I say so myself.
Well, it was your idea.
Oh, that's right. How nice of you to mention that. Hang on, I think I can reach it. Yes, I can pat myself on the back.
There you go. I love it.
All right, man, let's get to the chit chat. What's going on, man?
All right, so I've got a court date tomorrow. As I've mentioned, I got my car back. Well, I don't know. No, I didn't mention that I got my car back, did I? Last episode,
yes, you did. There was an actual image that we were going to include in the show notes that we never did of all the parting gifts that you were given for the trouble of losing your car.
Yeah, so I've got pictures of all that stuff. I'm going to be taking to court with me tomorrow. I got a call from the district attorney's office here just a few days ago, and they said, well, we're going to have a grand jury injunction here coming up this week, and do you mind if we subpoena you? And I was like, well, that's fine. Well, we can't get an actual physical subpoena to you in time through the mail. We're not going to send a court clerk out to you because we managed to get a hold of you. So is it okay if we email it to you? Okay, sure, fine, why not? So I got the email with a subpoena in it, and of course I've never been to anything like a grand jury injunction before, so I have no idea what to expect. I don't know what's going to go on. The instructions are all, in the mouthpiece lawyer speak, and I don't know what half of that stuff means. So I'm going to show up, and I'm going to dress nice, of course, be respectful at least. I have no idea if I'm going to get a chance to meet the guy who broke into my car, stole it. What is interesting is that the list of charges is not very long. They are only charging him, at least initially, with attempt to elude with an automobile and attempt to elude on foot. And there is no mention of grand theft auto in there, which I thought was interesting. But then I started thinking about it, and I guess it's that they just don't have enough solid evidence to prove that he was the one who actually stole the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and push for possession of stolen property, potentially, damage of property, something like that. Because in addition to all of this, I sent in some pictures to a couple of auto body shops to get a quote on repair of damages. And even though I've only got liability insurance on the car, and insurance obviously isn't going to cover this, I got some hope of potentially getting some restitution out of this whole thing. Is it going to happen? Most likely not. It's going to be trying to squeeze blood out of a stone. You can't squeeze money out of a crackhead, folks. It's not going to happen. So, but I'm going to try nonetheless. And if I win a judgment on this, then at least that's floating out there, and who knows what that means. But the damage total so far to my car, and this is without inspecting the undercarriage and figuring out why it's pulling to the right, is just under $4,000, $3,800 and some change. I don't have the sheet of paper right here in front of me, but that pretty much exceeds the value of the car. So I don't know where that leaves me, but it's certainly interesting, and I'm definitely going to have an interesting story to tell of Josh's day in court on episode 112 of the XJ Talk Show.
They'll probably tell you whenever you're there in court, but I don't think you'll be able to get any kind of judgment in the criminal trial. I think that you would actually have to sue them in a what do you call it? A
civil matter, or a civil case.
A civil case. But you can certainly bitch and moan and make his life a living hell while you're there.
Well, I did ask when I was on the phone with the district attorney's office. I asked because I was like, look, I got to be honest, I'm a little naive when it comes to this sort of stuff. I've never had a car stolen, one, two, let alone been to any sort of court proceeding like this before. So, and one of the questions I had was, what sort of recourse do I have as far as recouping some of the costs involved in repairing the car, or, being without the car for a while, or, all this other stuff. And she's like, well, you can ask for restitution at the trial. And so it's on the table, I guess. And if they're going to allow me to do it, I'm certainly going to throw the hat in the ring.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I really thought it would be a civil thing only. Basically putting you out of money and more taking you away from work and your free time, everything for the victim.
Let me tell you how our beloved judicial system reimburses somebody for a witness, any witness for that matter, at least here in the state of Oregon, showing up to a trial. The reimbursement for missing a day of work, $5.
Oh my! I was going for 12 to 14.
Not even double digits, Tony. I get a whopping $5 for showing up. So yeah, that's woo.
Oh, and I don't think you actually did a little synopsis of what the past thing that happened. Josh has what year Honda is it?
It's a 96 Honda Accord 4-door, and a couple weeks ago I came out of the house one weekend morning and it was missing. And I was searching for a logical explanation as to why my car wasn't parked where I'd left it. And lo and behold, it was stolen. And come to find out, after filing the police report, and a few days later, I get a call to hear that they have it. They had recovered it. It was involved in a high-speed pursuit. The guy had bailed out of it while it was still in motion, and ran from the cops. And they sent the canines after him, and they got him. So obviously he's been charged. He has been released, and I eventually got my car back along with a whole pile of goodies that aren't mine and that I have no intention of keeping. I had actually thought about putting everything into a big one of those 50-gallon black garbage bags. But I figured I'd probably end up getting tackled somewhere, at the courthouse, trying to walk into court with a big, huge a garbage bag of stuff thrown over my shoulder, and insisting that they keep it because I certainly don't want it.
Well, that's the worst case scenario is if you try to take it into court. I thought that's where you're going with that. I think it's an excellent idea.
Believe me, if I can get away with it.
Well, no, I think you can, because the worst case is if you're going through the thing and they say, son, I'm talking like you're in Texas, son, you can't bring that in here. Oh, it's yours, officer. Here you go.
It's all yours. Take it.
But luck would have it, there's a crack rock or something in there, and you wind up going to jail.
Exactly. Well, there, like I said, there's a tool belt and stuff in there, some aluminum snow shovels, and anything else in there that could probably be misconstrued as a weapon, and they're going to think that I'm trying to attack a judge or something.
So I have some rather sad news. It's not majorly sad, but we all, I think, remember the copious amounts of oil that my new 4.0 has been leaking since the rebuild, and how I did the rear main seal, changed the gasket, oil pan gasket several times, 3 times I think total, and then we had this most recent thing was the 3 O-ring issue where it was leaking out of the oil filter adapter, and that replacing that with actual Mopar O-rings, all $3 worth, solved the oil leak problem.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, seeing some videos that you had posted up both on xjtalk.com as well as on YouTube, some great videos, by the way, showing one heck of an oil leak.
It was
nearly a solid stream, I think, when the engine was running, of oil coming out of that oil filter adapter. So, glad you got that fixed. I hope it's still fixed.
Yeah, I'm going on well over a month with absolutely no drips on the ground at work. As far as I can tell, there's a lot of oil stains in the garage, so I really can only test it by park where I park. No oil on the ground whatsoever, and unfortunately, I'm still losing about a quarter oil a week.
What? Where's it going?
It's got to be going out the tailpipe.
Do you notice it smoking?
The only time that I've ever noticed it is when I'm sitting at idle, and Matt believes that Matt M. Smorenberg from xjtalk.com, a fellow admin there, and the gentleman who built my engine, he believes that the O-rings that are for the valve O-rings that keep the oil from dripping down the valve stems into the combustion chamber, he believes that because of the high vacuum of the engine, and also too that those O-rings probably aren't sealing very well, which would go in line with the same problem that I saw with the O-rings that were in that kit for the oil filter adapter. So it's going to probably require replacing those oil seals on the valves. What do they call them? Valve oil seals. I think they're little O-rings.
Valve guide oil, or valve guide seals, I think is what.
There you go.
Yeah.
So going to have to get some coil compressors and some valve spring compressors, and what do you call it? What is it? Air compressor valve. I'm sorry, trying to think. The spark plug thing where you stick the air compressor hose into it so you can keep the valve up while you take the compressor.
I know what you're talking about now. So is this going to be a project that you're going to take on yourself?
I don't know. I need to check with Matt and see what his schedule looks like, and if he has the tools handy. Otherwise, I'll do it myself. About the only thing I'm concerned about is getting the valve, and I'm drawing blanks on all these parts. The little keepers that hold the valve springs in place. You put those in there, the little two halves of metal, you drop them in there, and then I think you whack it with a rubber mallet a few times to make sure it's going to stay. That's my my entire knowledge of of replacing keeper springs.
I've never rebuilt the top end of a motor. I've torn them apart, but that's about as far as my knowledge goes. Putting them back together properly has always been left up to somebody else, oftentimes because I don't have those specialty tools that are oftentimes required to do the job properly. So it's something that was left up to somebody with obviously more tools and more experience than myself. So I mean, I'm not saying it's too hard or impossible, or you need a degree in rocket science to make it happen. But as your daily driver, I mean, that's a big pond to jump into. Sort of sight unseen. Without having done something like that before, I'd be worried, that I wouldn't be able to do it right or get it completed in time to go back to work the next week.
Now, it's a real simple job. I can visualize it. I can visualize the steps. My only concern is that not having any direct experience with getting those keepers in and making sure that they're going to stay, because obviously if the keeper comes out and then the spring comes off the valve is going to drop and it's going to hit the piston and probably do some damage, and could even do damage inside the cylinder. So that's my only concern. I mean, just pulling the valve cover off and putting the compressor, collapse the spring, run some compressed air in there to keep the valves open. It's you don't even have to worry about synchronization or having the top dead center for each cylinder, although that would be nice, because if the valve did drop, it wouldn't drop very far. You'd still be able to grab it and pull it up. But to me, it's a really simple job, maybe a couple hours. If everything goes all right, because it's just right there. You just pull the rockers off, and you got the springs. But the keeping putting the keepers in and making sure they're right, I'm a little nervous about that. So that would be I would like to have somebody that has experience with that, especially Matt, which he put these together and they've been working fine for a year and a half. So to be honest with you, what I'd like to do is do it myself, but have somebody look over my shoulder. That way I gain the experience. I'm sure it's very easy. Mechanical stuff has always been very easy for me, but I get a little concerned about doing things for the first time, simply from the matter of, is it going to hold up? Is the work that I'm doing correct?
Yeah, exactly. A little supervision never hurt. And, I don't mind jumping into something I've never done before. I mean, geez, that's what a lot of us are into these XJs to begin with for. I mean, obviously, the end result and the payoff is getting to hit the trails and driving a sweet Jeep. But, getting your hands dirty and getting in there, learning your Jeep, and of course, learning something new, is half the fun of this whole adventure. And geez, I mean, you had mentioned that you're not really too thrilled about tinkering on your Jeep many times. I'm just the opposite. I love working on the Jeep. Obviously, putting in a new part, something, cool and sexy is always way more fun than the maintenance kind of stuff. But you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, you do. And I still like knowing how it goes together and having the ability to work on it myself. So even if I don't like going out there and getting hot and dirty and then coming in and having to scrub for 30 minutes to try to get cleaned up, and then have all those dirty clothes that my wife is complaining about.
That all smell like grease and 30 weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I want to give a quick shout out to 92 War Wagon. His name's Wes. He's a local Jeeper to me. Has been a longtime supporter and fan of the show, and of course member of xjtalk.com. And he's got himself a 92 Limited, and we've been working for the last week or so on getting him a lift kit, and he decided to go with the variety of the 4.5-inch rough country long arm kit, and he got the one with the full leaf packs and all the bells and whistles, all the goodies. And he picked that. He was honestly, Tony, he was going to get that through Amazon.com, but managed to find even a better deal than what Amazon can provide through a local off-road shop here in my neck of the woods. So obviously, in the spirit of saving a few bucks, he reluctantly, I might add, went over and purchased the kit from the local retailer, and we've begun work on that last weekend. Tore into the rear end. Spent all day Saturday working on that, and everything, even the upper shock bolts, which is something that 90% of Cherokee owners who go in and start replacing shocks or doing a lift kit say that these things break. Even mine broke on my 99 when I was doing mine. And I told him, I was like, look, man, you got to expect these things to break. I haven't heard of a single Cherokee that, went through an entire lift kit without a single broken bolt. It's going to happen, man. So you got to prepare for it. And so, trying to make as many, contingency plans to make sure that we have everything in case something were to break or something like that. And honestly, his upper shock bolts came right out. It was amazing. The one thing that did break was the lower shock mount. Actually, the stud on the axle snapped right off on the, I think it was the passenger side. Very inopportune break. Certainly not a spot that is very easy to fix, but we're going to try and tackle that here in the next couple of days. Just about all finished up. I've been heading over there for an hour or so, just about every night this week after work and helping him out with a couple of things. He's had a couple of other snags. The center cross member, the new belly pan, didn't quite line up right. Definitely needed a third hand for that to get that into place. Some of the directions weren't quite clear on how things were supposed to go together. So it was a lot of, standing around and pointing and looking and talking about, well, how are we going to do this? And okay, well, let's do it like that and see if it's going to work. And, everything has ended up lining up pretty good, with the exception of that belly pan, which we got into position, and it's all fine and dandy. He did have a Zerk break off on his front passenger caliper. The Zerk that you'd use to bleed the caliper with actually snapped off inside the caliper itself. I went over there, tried to extract it. No such luck. So we ended up having to get some new calipers, ended up replacing the rotors and the pads as well. So he's got himself a whole new brake setup as well. And of course, all new brake lines, at least the soft lines that came with the rough country kit, which I might add is a very complete kit. And actually seeing this thing in person, brand new out of the box, I gotta say it's fairly impressive. And so kudos to Rough Country. There was one hiccup with their kit in that there was a series of bolts for the upper control arms, which apparently didn't get included in the kit. So that was one little oversight on the part of Rough Country. He's going to go ahead and write a nice little letter to them and just be like, hey, I'm not asking for anything, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up. The kit that I got was missing these bolts. Just maybe want to, double check your guys' QC department or something like that. So other than that, this kit I've been extremely impressed with. It's very complete. The instructions are laid out to where they're fairly easy to understand. Like I said, there was a couple things that just weren't quite clear, left a little bit for open to interpretation as far as wording and pictures and things like that. But all in all, if you're fairly mechanically inclined, this is a kit. Even this long arm kit is something that you can do. As long as you've got a garage, a decent selection of hand tools, and a lot of patience, and a third hand to help you out, this is something you could do in a weekend. It's going to take you, I'm going to say, a good 16 to 20 hours to do a kit like this, nonstop. But obviously, you're going to break it up over a course of a few days, and when it's all said and done, you're going to end up with one heck of a kit. He decided to go with the 33 by 1250 15 Pro Comp MT2s, the same tires that I'm running. He's got himself some rock crawler rims that he's going to be getting, some black steel circle windows. They're going to be going on there as well. So he's going to have a fresh set of new shoes to go with his 4.5-inch lift kit. We're hoping to get a break-in run this weekend. Going to try and take some video with the GoPro with that. That'll be the inaugural run with the GoPro as well as the first time I've been wheeling since around Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to getting back out on the trails too. There's been one hiccup through this whole thing as far as, what we're going to be, or, how the wheels are coming in. I got him a deal through 4-Wheel Parts, and there seemed to be an issue with 4-Wheel Parts and their expediter. And the expediter is the person who, when an order is placed in through the warehouse or whatever, they're the one who's, directing as far as which warehouse, which store, these parts are coming from, how they get on the truck, and how they, in what sort of fashion they actually get to the store they're supposed to go to. This person has dropped the ball. The wheels were supposed to be in on Monday. They're still not there. The wheels and tires and everything else has been paid for, but yet there is no product in hand yet. The store manager of the Portland 4-Wheel Parts store has been extremely helpful. He's been extremely polite and very understanding through the whole process because, well, it's out of all of our hands. And unfortunately, the system that 4-Wheel Parts uses as far as tracking goes is, well, almost non-existent. It very much relies on every person throughout the whole chain to do their job and to record things properly. And when one person doesn't do it, or they don't do their job right, then everything breaks down. And that's kind of what happened in this case. So Wes 92 War Wagon is still without wheels and tires at this point because they have no wheels to mount the tires onto. So it's no fault of the actual four-wheel parts store. It's no fault of mine or Wes's, but nonetheless, somebody down the chain of command end up dropping the ball and it snowballs. And these kind of things happen. You got to have patience and you kind of got to plan for them. So either way, we're going to get them up and running and hopefully get them out on the trail this weekend. So guys, next episode, look forward to hearing a report on that. And of course, we're going to try and get some video up on YouTube as well as on xjtalk.com with this whole thing.
Well, that's great, Josh. I love hearing about that. And it's wonderful hearing about another xjtalk.com member getting their stuff together so they can go to the great outdoors and break things so that they can buy other things to replace those things that break, because damn it, I don't like it breaking and I'm going to buy me something bigger and badder. That whole spiral out of control type thing that we all get into.
Yeah, how's it go? Build, break, fix, repeat.
Yes. Rinse. So let's get our voicemail in here from Nikki G. Always entertaining, always appreciative. Here we go. Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Nikki G. And I've got a problem this week. As many of you know, I've got a waffle iron in my Jeep, and it comes in handy when you're stuck in traffic and you want a nice hot breakfast. And so I put a coffee maker in there too, so you can enjoy some coffee. You can't have waffles without coffee. But something's missing. I thought, well, it's not a good idea to have waffles and coffee without fresh bacon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm installing a George Foreman grill in the Jeep, and you might ask, where am I putting all this stuff? Well, there's plenty of room in the console since there's no cup holders. And so I'm wiring the George Foreman grill, which will also work for making hot dogs for lunch. I guess I'm stuck in traffic quite a bit. But I got this nagging question. What do you think will win in a foot race between a hot dog and a chicken nugget? Now, before you answer, please consider the chicken nugget is illegally using barbecue sauce. Yeah, I know, it's a real stumper. All right, guys, I'll chat at you later. You have a good one. Bye.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tappa Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, well, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
I love having you follow the toilet.
First Week in G.
Well, guys, I got to give a big thank you to John, Pre-Runner 1983, for sending these stories in to news tips at xjtalk.com. He's hooked me up in the past, and this is no exception. It gave me a few good stories here that I'm going to share with you guys right now. So Jeep has seen 2 spots on Automotive News' top 10 auto blunders of 2013. With various screw-ups from Ford, GM, Toyota, and even Renault, Jeep makes the list twice. Once with the genius plan to fix the gas tank protection issue on the old ZJs by slapping an off-the-shelf trailer hitch in as a Band-Aid. Now, this was all back in June in response to recent deaths and a fiery rear-end crashes. Now, to date, the proposal still has yet to get final approval from the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The second appearance, oddly enough, is not the decision to name the Jeep's newest vehicle a Cherokee, as that alone is an epic failure unto itself that just goes without mentioning. But instead is the software embedded in the debacle of a resurrection of the iconic name badge that controls the industry's first 9-speed transmission. That bug surrounding this tranny software is enough to postpone the official launch many times and push back the official release of the Cherokee we all love to hate by several months. All those were enough to get Jeep's 2 spots on Automotive News' top 10 auto blunders of 2013. Now, this is where things kind of turn a little somber. And this is where I kind of apologized earlier. And this is the news that, well, plain and simply, guys, it's not good news. Fiat is to buy full control of Chrysler Corporation. As you guys know, Fiat is the plant that made the new Cherokee. They're the ones who designed it. And, well, I can't say that they made it because it's being made in Ohio. But nonetheless, it's all Italian for the most part. If that wasn't enough to make you insert your face into palm every time the name Jeep pops up, we get news recently that Chrysler will become fully owned by Italy's Fiat under terms of an agreement that also involves the United Auto Workers Union. Now, this agreement comes more than 4.5 years after the Obama administration brought Fiat in to keep Chrysler in business as part of a packaged bankruptcy proceeding. Now, Fiat has said it has agreed to pay $3.65 billion, that's billion with an M, for the 41.46% of Chrysler it doesn't already own from the UAW Medical Benefits Trust for Retirees. In addition to the deal, Chrysler will continue to contribute $700 million to the Benefits Trust over a 4-year period. For its part, the UAW has agreed to support the automaker's plans to roll out vehicles and will drop a Delaware court proceeding over options exercised by Fiat in the acquisition of Chrysler. Sergio Marchionne, that guy, he's the CEO of both Fiat and Chrysler. He says the unified ownership structure will now allow us to fully execute our vision of creating a global automaker that is truly unique in terms of mix of experience, perspective, and know-how. A solid and open organization that will ensure all employees a challenging and rewarding environment. I got a quick question here for Sergio. One, who cares about the employees? It's the people buying the vehicles that matter the most, and we don't like the new Cherokee. The full takeover of Chrysler by Fiat means it will not have to go ahead for plans of an initial public offering of Chrysler stock, which had been set to take place in the first 3 months of 2014. The U.S. government also held stake in Chrysler at the time it emerged from bankruptcy as compensation for the federal bailout the automaker received. But Treasury sold those shares back to Chrysler at a loss back in 2011. What does all this mean, you say? Well, stay tuned for your independent suspension front-wheel drive unibody Wrangler with teacup holders and built-in purse warmers. Yep, that's what it's going to come down to, guys. I just have a feeling. Hey, if you've got a story that you think deserves attention on the XJ Talk Show, please send me a link or copy the story to newstips@xjtalk.com.
Well, Josh, I think you're not taking into account the many Italian-made off-road vehicles that deal with treacherous mountainous terrain on every day, on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
and don't forget, they won World War II. So,
look, I mean, I've got nothing but respect for Italians, and of course they've got a long heritage of great design. I mean, just look at the Ferrari, for instance. They do make sexy cars, but honestly, I don't think that they really have any business with Jeep. I firmly believe that Jeep and Ram should have seceded from the Chrysler Union and gone off and been, their own brands, per se. And that just the Chrysler line would have been, fine being Fiat. That's fine. You want to make cars, you want to make minivans, that's okay. The four-wheel drives and a long tradition of four-wheel drive heritage should not be in the hands of an Italian automaker. That's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Josh, but there's not a lot we can do about it. Fortunately, the only thing that I was remotely interested in purchasing from Jeep would be a four-door Wrangler, and I think they're pretty much going to put the nails into the coffin of the Jeep brand. We'll see how it goes, but I don't see anything being four-wheel drive worthy in the future unless it's a full-size pickup. And I haven't been following full-size pickups well enough to even know if you can get something that isn't IFS anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so, Tony. I think about the only live axles that are left are in full size pickups in the rear end underneath the bed, because you still have to tow. Now Jeep has been talking about a diesel option, and honestly, I have to admit, I really do like the idea of a 4-door Wrangler diesel. Mm-hmm. It rings true to me. I've always liked the idea, and still to this day, I mean, heck, there's a guy on xjtalk.com right now who just picked up I think it was a 97 or a 98 4-door Cherokee, and he's doing this like his fifth XJ. And he's kind of putting it out there as far as, well, hey guys, what should I do for a power plant? And one of his options was a turbo diesel. I think he's going with one out of Volkswagen. Now, obviously, it's not a Jeep, Mopar, Chrysler power plant. That's all fine and dandy. Man, it's a diesel and a Cherokee. That is just cool as hell. And I believe that diesels do have a home in Jeep. But is it these Italian engines? I don't know. Obviously, Chrysler is going the direction they're going to go with Fiat, and they're going to do whatever sort of engines that they're going to offer up, and we're probably not going to see diesels here anytime soon. It's primarily a European thing, but it is on the table. They've been talking about it, so it very well may happen. Chances are, by the time it does happen, Jeep probably isn't going to be Jeep anymore, at least not as we know it. And so it's might be a little bit, a day late, a dollar short type of thing, but nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, and it'll go down in the history books. And hey, at least we can be a part of it, and that we're here talking about it.
And we can bitch the whole way and say, I told you so, and, you arrogant bastards, and all kinds of things. So there's all kinds of fun. But I will remind each and every one of you guys, if you're getting depressed, and I can tell Josh is, they can't do anything to the XJ.
No, they can't.
They made 2.7, I'm sorry, not they. Chrysler and Jeep made 2.7 million of them. They're still on the road. You can still find them. Matt just bought one for $50, missing a lot of things, but $50, good straight body. So there's lots of Dana 30s around. There's Dana 44s. It's made for off-road. It's made for a daily driver, just simply because the past manufacturer of the vehicle is making stuff that we don't like. Doesn't mean that we have to drive their crap. Doesn't mean that we have to buy their crap. We can let the yuppies and the people that don't know any better buy those things, and that's great. I'm all for companies making a profit. I don't care if they're in the United States or in other parts of the world. I think every capitalist should be able to make money. That's fine. I also, too, have the right to actually say bad things about them when they don't do things the way I want them to do it. So
protected by the First Amendment. Gotta love it.
Yeah. So, don't get down on this. As far as I know, unless there's another cash for clunkers, they can't take our Jeeps away. So, and they can't take our solid axle front ends. There's always going to be solid axle front ends that we'll be able to buy and put in these things. So it's
Absolutely.
all good.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, it's, all good things must come to an end. And if that's the direction it ends up going, like I said, we're just going to sit back and watch. At least we still have our Cherokees.
And there's nothing to say that Fiat won't, screw the pooch and then have to sell it to somebody else. And who knows, maybe one day it'll be International Harvester that buys Jeep back.
Hey, one can only hope.
Yeah. So things can happen. It's just, it's the ride that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to move along here to our next segment. What is that, Josh? Are we going to do the you bought and what now? I guess that let's do that. I was thinking maybe we could do the Jeep tips. Jeep tips or you bought and what? What do you think?
You know what? Let's go ahead and do the you bought and what. Let's have some fun with this, and we'll close the show with Steve. Steve's got some very interesting information. That's Steve 4.3LXJ. That's his username over there on XJ Talk. Guy who's just chock full of great information. He recently posted up a great new thread about bastard packs, and he's got a Jeep tips for us that we'll get into in a little bit later. And I think it's really cool and very interesting information that I think is going to be very useful for a lot of Jeep builders out there. I think it'd be a good note to go out on for the show. So let's have some fun with our last you bought and what first.
Sounds good.
Amazon.com and the XJ Talk Show present You Bought What?
Okay, guys, like I said, it's not the final last ever You Bought What, but this is the last You Boughten What. I've gotten a pretty good hang of trying to control myself. Obviously, last episode, I believe it was, I went the entire, or not last episode, it was episode 110, or 109 rather.
109.
Went the entire, yeah, I'm just screwing the whole thing up here. Went the entire segment without saying boughten. Well, at least except for this part that I'm talking about right now. So, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great ride. But like I said, all good things must come to an end. Once again, before we really start heading down this trip, I got to give you guys those numbers one more time. Area code 267-507-0240. And that special code that you're going to need is 219835. Now, when you do get through, you're going to need the phrase that pays. And this is what separates the men from the boys. So if you call in and you are the right caller, the first caller that we pick up, well, you're going to need the phrase that pays, and which is, green Jeeps are okay.
So
that is
it's the whole thing. Pays. It's the whole thing that he just said. Green Jeeps are okay.
So write that down. Write those numbers down that you see on the screen. And as we get into this, make sure you guys are paying attention and have your finger holding and hovering over that send button. So really quick, let's give you guys a quick rundown of how this whole thing works. We've got a great relationship set up with Amazon.com to where if you guys head over to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and you click on the Amazon banner that you see there on our homepage, it'll take you straight over to Amazon.com, and you can continue to do all of your online shopping as you normally would. And you're going to pay the same great price that you normally would on their massive selection of tons of great stuff. And what the relationship is we've developed is Amazon's agreed to give us just a tiny little kickback of each purchase. Now, we don't get to see who's buying what, but we do get a list to see what's been purchased. So with that, we have a little bit of fun with it. You guys have some fun with it. Obviously, over the months, you have definitely thrown us a few curveballs, and we've had a great time with it. But through this list, we pick out, Tony and I will pick out a few items and share them with you guys and let you guys know what your fellow XJ Talk Show fans are buying. So Tony, I've got a few picked out here on the list that I've got. I'm imagining that you've got a few as well. I have to admit before we go into this a little bit that my head was in the gutter a tiny bit, and I picked out a few of these because of some very specific wording that was in there. And this kind of plays into what I was talking just a second ago about some of those curveballs that you guys have thrown to us with some very interesting, let's call them bedroom toys, if you will. I think I've used the term marital aids in the past.
Adult, I was starting to say fornication, adult recreation.
Adult fornication accessories. Yeah, there we go.
I just want to mention one more time, make sure everybody's clear. So when Josh is reading what has been bought by you guys through Amazon.com, and if he makes the mistake and uses the made-up past tense, boughten, then that's whenever you call in. And then if you're the first caller and we bring you up and say hello and we want to know what's the phrase that pays, you'll need to say, green Jeeps are okay. And if you do that, then you will win a gift certificate from Amazon.com in the amount of the item that Josh screwed up. So Josh is buying these things, basically, guys. So whenever he screws up, he pays. So
that's right. And thankfully I have not screwed up on anything like a big screen TV or anything like that. So which have popped up on this list before.
Yes. And Xbox One, right around Christmas time, somebody bought an Xbox One through there too.
Another high dollar purchase there. So
$500, boy. I'm glad. I bet you were nervous on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even afford my brown dog motor mounts right now, let alone giving somebody an Xbox One.
Well, with all the money you're getting back from the, that $4,000 you'll be getting back from the Honda, the judgment on the Honda, you'll be able to buy all kinds of motor mounts.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Cause every crackhead's got $4,000 laying around
somewhere.
Okay. Well, let's get into this, guys. We've brought up this item before in electrical and audio tips. I believe even Steve 4.3 LXJ has talked about this in some of his Jeep tips. We've talked about this in various podcasts before. This is the Putco the premium automotive lighting harness. This is the headlight upgrade harness that everybody talks about on all the forums. This is what will help you throw in like some 100-watt H4s if you decide to do the H4 conversion. It also works with the standard sealed bulbs that are in there. Basically, this harness is a plug and play and really throws full voltage down the headlight harness to make your headlights come to life, because everybody knows the stock headlights and the stock headlight harness in a Cherokee, they kind of suck. This is the Putco 2300 4HW premium automotive lighting wiring H4 100-watt heavy-duty harness and relay kit. It was purchased for $25.78. That's about $10 cheaper than I got mine for.
Now, I know I'm going to take some hate and discontent for this one, but I like what it says here. Quantity 2, left and right Jeep Cherokee 97 through 2001, excluding the Grand Cherokee, liftgate lift supports. So, you guys, especially whenever it gets cold outside, which it really is right now, the old little shocks, if you will, the little liftgate supports, don't really want to hold up that back hatch. And I don't know if everybody's aware of it or not, but the 97 through 2001, it's an all metal hatch, where the ones prior to that were fiberglass, and I believe would be lighter because it was fiberglass. So I think you wind up changing those lift supports more often with the nice metal lift gates.
Yep, mine went out not all that long ago. I did replace them with some new ones, and now anytime somebody else opens up the rear of my Cherokee, they almost end up getting knocked on their butt. Yes. It opens up so damn fast.
Yeah, and I think I got mine at O'Reilly's for around $18 a piece, so I think I paid like $36, and Amazon had them for $28.
Oh man, that's a good deal. Good deal right there. Well, there's some more items on here. You guys have been really doing just a great job of telling a friend and doing some online shopping through Amazon.com, and of course clicking on those banners on our home sites. And there's just a ton of items here, and this is one that like I said, my mind was in the gutter when I first saw this, and I started highlighting it, but then I started reading the full description. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's not quite as fun and neat as I thought it was going to be. The best silicone heat-resistant grilling barbecue glove set. Now, see, the silicone is what got me there for a second. I figured, okay, this is going to be something kind of kinky or fun or whatnot, and ended up just being some gloves. But this is the high-temperature food handling heat-resistant grilling barbecue glove set for $18.99.
Well, now, I know that you're a barbecuing kind of guy.
Oh, yes, I am.
And it's not all that. I mean, it's nice to be out there and cooking the food and prepping it and smelling it, and certainly bringing that into your family and having them eat it. But while you're actually cooking, it's pretty boring. So, I guess somebody, if they were so inclined to be a little adventurous with outside silicone gloves, you could work it into making it sexual.
Yeah, I suppose
it would even be better if you brought the girl out there too.
Fun with barbecue sauce. Okay, that'll be a whole nother podcast, folks.
So, I'm just going to do this one again because I like Pop Rocks.
Yeah. So, speaking of fun in your mouth.
Exactly. Speaking of an explosion in your mouth. Come on, Josh. This stuff writes itself. So anyway, you guys, I know I spoke with Josh about this. This is probably the 109 last time we did this. I don't know if everybody remembers Pop Rocks or not, but Pop Rocks were really cool because you put this stuff in your mouth and it's like Rice Krispies, but they actually work. I mean, they would really make a noise, and you'd really feel the motion of these things in your mouth. It was, well, I'm just going down a whole different road here again. I don't need to do that. But you can buy these candies, long lost candies, if you will, that you don't normally see in stores. You can get them on Amazon.com. So actually, I need to buy some Pop Rocks. I need to get those for my girls to try, because I bet you they don't even know what the hell they are.
Yeah, just don't put any milk on them like you would your Rice Krispies. That'd just turn out to be a nasty mess.
Yeah, you never can tell. Kids today.
Yeah. Well, again, my mind was in the gutter when I saw this one. It was Hi-Ho Cheerio. Now, there's just so many different directions you can go with this. And the word ho, the word cherry, I don't know where I was going with that, but nonetheless, it's an old game. It's been around for a long time. It's obviously in the toys and games section here on Amazon.com. It's just $5. Obviously, it's nothing too crazy. But hi-ho, Cheerio. Figured I'd have some fun with that one.
So, I don't think that I mentioned this one before. This is a great thing to have. It would be great if you were going off-road and maybe doing a little camping out, or maybe going off-road and stopping to have lunch someplace. I don't know if there's any off-road parks that have areas where you can cook, but this is and I didn't know they carried Tupperware on Amazon. Makes sense. They seem to have everything on there, but Tupperware hamburger press set. So,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like getting all that oily, greasy stuff on my hands and then putting it in my Cherokee and all over the steering wheel. Of course, mine's a daily driver. I guess if you just if yours is just an off-road rig, then it's not such a big deal. But that comes in pretty handy, and of course, you can kind of keep the size of the hamburger constant that way.
Yeah, no, I love making my own patties, for grill. I don't use the hamburger press. I make my patties big and thick and almost uncontrollable on the grill, using nearly half a pound of beef and everything else I throw at them to make my patties. I don't need no stinking press.
Well, those are great for the kids. That way you can get more meat on yours. So
exactly.
Let me ask you, do you put anything in with the hamburger meat, or is it just the hamburger meat, salt, pepper type stuff?
No. I go all crazy. So real quick, before we go, too deep on a rabbit trail here, I'll just give you a quick rundown of my hamburger recipe, which is very similar to my meatloaf recipe as well. I of course use some very lean ground beef. I use some breadcrumbs. I use some eggs as a binding agent as well. Some Worcestershire sauce, some soy sauce, some garlic cloves, and some parsley, as well as a 5 fresh ground black pepper blend, a little bit of paprika, a dash of salt. And I stir up a lot of the ingredients in a little countertop food processor type thing, especially the garlic and the egg, the sauces, and especially like the soy sauce and stuff like that. All goes in a little blender. All gets frothed up along with some minced onion as well. That all gets kneaded together and thrown in with the hamburger, and I make my patties that way, and they turn out just phenomenal. You throw in a little bit of gorgonzola cheese in the middle of it, and you got yourself one hell of a hamburger.
How do you keep the cheese from melting out, though?
You put it on the inside.
I know, but how do you keep it from melting out from the inside out? I guess it's just cooking time, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's you do get a little bit of bleed out, but not much. You definitely end up with a nice pocket of molten hot cheese, so you got to be careful biting into it. I end up burning your mouth. But
yeah, that sounds like good stuff. We may have to steal from Dan over at the 4x4 podcast and start having a food segment.
No, you and I are both foodies.
What can we cook?
So yeah,
what can we cook out of the trail? Yeah.
yeah. Well, guys, there's back to our list here. Found one in the automotive section here that I like. I'm a motorcycle owner, and I do like to ride every now and again. And it's been a little while. Honestly, it's been a few years since I've ridden my motorcycle because I can't leave my Jeep alone. I've got a problem. I'm fully addicted. I've got the bug. Hi, my name's Josh. I'm a Jeep addict. Yep, that's me. But this one caught my eye. This is for the Suzuki DL650 or the DL1000. I've got a Suzuki Katana, which is basically the big brother to these guys. But this is a tank cover kit. This is something that I would have bought for my bike if I would have.
Awesome. Be the first to call in 267-507-0240, conference code 219835, and you'll win this week's Amazon You Boughten What? You know what, Josh? What was it? It's been the last 2 times that we've done this, 2 or 3 times that we have not given away anything. I think it was the first time 3 times ago, nobody called in. Everybody was being polite because they had already won. I'm not going to win again. I'll let somebody else call. And we just sat there and waited and no calls.
Oh, man, that's a darn shame.
Yeah, it was.
I hope we got somebody on the line here real soon. God, I thought I was going to make it, man. We were on a roll, having a good time, and I screwed it up. So, well, that's my fault. Nonetheless, this was this tank cover for the motorcycle. Really cool item. I like the way it looks. Definitely something that if I didn't already have something like this on my bike, I would think about getting myself. It's $31.95 value. Purchased back on the 26th of December, just a day after Christmas. I wonder if somebody maybe got themselves an Amazon gift card.
I bet you
perchance, and maybe had picked one of these things up day after Christmas, spending some of that Christmas booty.
Well, let's check the phones here real quick.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, guys.
No, actually, I'm messing with you. We do have a call. Hang on one second. Let's get him. Say him. Let's get. It could be a female. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, he's waiting on me. I haven't done this in so long. I forgot how to answer the call.
Yeah, we don't have one of those fancy call screeners. Tony's got to work double duty over there, and that's why we've got the the multi-digit code that you have to enter just to connect with us, and not a 800 number. So look, sounds like we got him on the line. Hello, caller. Who are you, and where are you calling from?
Oh no!
Oh, it figures the caller that we've got is going through a tunnel or something like that. Is well underground or something like that. We've got a bad connection. See if we can't give this just a couple of moments and maybe have that clean up. And caller, if you can hear me, maybe quickly run outside or something like that. Climb a tree really quick. Get up on your roof or something. Let's try and get you a better signal so we can understand you, because right now you're.
Yeah, it's better.
No, that sounds a little bit better. Who we got?
Let's get this. Let's get this part in real quick. What's the phrase that pays?
I think I heard it. I think I heard it.
So let's try this again. I mean, we're just getting a real bad. I don't know if it's a cell phone thing or if it's a Skype thing. What's the name, caller? What's your name? I hope he's not listening to the show on something else, because there's like a 30-second delay. If you're listening to the show, you need to turn that one off or turn the volume off so you can listen to us on the phone. The phone is going to be almost real time, whereas the show is like a 30-second delay. It'll be very confusing if you're trying to listen to us on the show and talk to us. Listen to us on the phone.
So do we have you? Are you with us? Can you hear us now?
Unfortunately, the call ended. I don't know if he disconnected or if the call disconnected because it was such a bad connection. But we do have the phone number. So the guy that just called in, try calling back. Let's see if we can get you on there. You were the first caller. God, I hate to do this, but we didn't hear the phrase that pays. So I guess technically somebody else can call in and get this.
I thought I heard green Jeeps, but it was breaking up really bad. Unfortunately, it's that whoever was calling in, they're in a bad spot, in a bad position. Obviously, with the cell phone not getting the greatest reception of where they're at. Hopefully, we can get them to call back, and we can get a better connection.
So it's still up for grabs, guys. If you want to call in, numbers up on the screen. Let's let it rotate back so I can give it to you. It's 267-507-0240, and then put in the conference code number 219835. We'll get you on here. Don't forget about the phrase that pays. Yeah, green Jeeps are okay.
Yep.
I almost said sexy.
You almost said sexy.
I almost said sexy.
I heard it.
I was thinking red Jeeps.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, red
Jeeps are sexy.
Yes, of course they are. Well, I tell you what, we'll just keep an eye on the phones until the end of the show, and anybody could call in. You can still win. The gentleman that just called, if you want to try again, maybe get on a landline and call us. You can still be yours. So hopefully we'll have a winner here for our last You Bought and What contest.
Yeah, that sure would be neat. I'd like to take out this rendition of the segment on a high note. Obviously, the last time we did this, as Tony mentioned, we were not able to give something away, which is fine by me because it just means I get to keep some of my own money. So,
you stingy bastard!
Yes, I know. I am. I'm a cheap bastard.
Well, we're running long here. I didn't realize we were already at an hour. So let's get this Jeep tip thing ball on the road.
All right.
And now for a disclaimer. Jeep Tips is for entertainment purposes only. If you choose to follow these tips, man up and take the responsibility for your own actions. If you cannot, or you feel that working on your Jeep is beyond your abilities, seek the help or advice of a trained certified mechanic.
Got a tip? We do. It's time for Jeep Tips.
And now here's Steve, 4.3 LXJ from xjtalk.com.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be back. I'd like to talk about what we call bastard packs today. This is a segment that we should probably have our listeners to coincide with the cheap front-end lifts that we did previously. Now, if we were really being PC, we wouldn't call these bastard packs. What we would really do is call them a blended spring. But because we are Jeep drivers, we're not PC. We call them bastard packs. And the reason is because they take the XJ main leaf in the rear and mix it up with spring leaves from one or more other springs. Now, the trick to doing this is that if you really want to get a lift out of it, instead of just making a lot stiffer spring, what you want to do is use a donor spring that has more than 4 inches of free arch. The XJ spring, in its original form, when it's not settled out and so forth, has about 4 inches of free arch in it. So if we start putting in leaves that have more free arch, such as S10s or rodeo leaves that have, say, 8 inches or more free arch, what that means is we can use a spring that has about the same spring rate, but it'll still provide a lift for us without being too stiff. So how do you do this? Well, you want to use your XJ main leaf because this provides alignment, and you don't want to have to rebuild all of your spring perches and all that stuff. So we use the XJ main leaf. Then we want to use a donor spring, as I said, that has about 8 inches of free arch or more, and we want to make sure this spring is 2.5 inches wide. That's how wide our main leaf is. Now we want to do this because if you go mixing widths and so forth, things may not fit right. So what do we want it to look like when it's done? Well, what you should have is kind of what you started with, so that you have a progression of lengths of leaves that go from short on the bottom near the axle to progressively longer lengths until you get to the ends of the main leaves, or near the ends anyway. So why do we want to do this? Well, this is so that the spring will flex evenly, and this is very important when you build a spring. If it flexes all in the center by where the axle is, you can bend the spring permanently and it'll settle on you. Or it won't have a nice progression of spring rate, and it may absorb some bumps nicely, but it's not going to carry a load, and it's really not going to behave like it should. So we want a nice progression of lengths of leaves so that when the spring flexes, it flexes evenly. So that eventually, if we were to push it up far enough, it would be perfectly flat without any weird bends or curves in it. So what do you need? Well, the first thing you're probably going to need is a new center pin, or a center bolt, as they used to call them. This is that little bolt that goes in the center, and you can't go down to the hardware store and get yourself a grade 8 bolt and round off the head of it in a grinder. These are special bolts, and you have to use them. They're soft. They may not seem like they're going to do anything for you. They may seem like they're going to shear off, but they're that way for a reason. These bolts have to be able to flex with the spring sometimes, and if you use a grade 8 bolt, they will break on you. So pony up. That costs you a couple bucks a piece. Go down to your parts store and get a center bolt that's probably about 6 inches long. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to have another qualifier here. As we mix and match leaves, we want to have a slightly progressive increase in arch as the leaves get shorter. And what this will mean is that there's a little bit of space in between each leaf, and this is called snap. And this is kind of an important thing when you're putting springs together. They should have a little bit of snap so that they fit tightly together, and this helps the spring flex evenly. And so if you go to try to put a flat leaf in the middle of a bunch of curved ones, the spring's not going to like it, and it's not going to have a nice even spring rate when it flexes. So we want to have a little snap in it, so it's best to use leaves out of just one donor spring so that we can get a nice progression there. The other thing we're going to need to pay attention to is clips. These are the alignment devices on the leaves, and the two examples that I'm going to give you tonight, the S10 leaves and the Isuzu Rodeo leaves, both have spring clips that you can use on these springs so that you can maintain alignment. Otherwise, you're going to have to go out and find someplace, and they don't like to stay put. Typically, you have to weld them on the ends of the springs and spring leaves and so forth, and it's just better to use a nice single donor spring so that we can utilize the clips and keep everything in alignment. Now, U-bolts, some purists say that you should change U-bolts to new ones whenever you do something like this. I have done tons of these things, and I don't use new U-bolts unless there's a reason for it. And that is they're bent, or threads are all boogered up, or they're not long enough. But otherwise, if your U-bolts are in decent shape, you can reuse them. So, when we go to put this together, there's something that's going to make it really easy, and that is, do not remove the whole spring from your Jeep. And this is particularly important if you live in the Rust Belt, because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to find out that you're going to spin the nutsert in the frame, and you're going to be on the forum saying, what do I do now, and so forth and so on, and you're going to try to get that spring out of there with a hacksaw or whatever, and it's just a big pain in the neck. So one of the beauties of the Bastard Pack is you don't have to remove the XJ main leaf. It can stay there. So you don't have to touch that. All you have to do is to remove the U-bolts, drop the axle down, and take the center pin out, and the spring will come apart. If it has clips on it, undo the clips, pry them apart, and everything falls apart, and then you can reassemble it using your new leaves. So this can make things a whole lot easier over buying a whole brand new spring, and not to mention that it's a lot cheaper. Now, when you live in the Rust Belt, whenever you do stuff like this, always use anti-seize. So when you put your U-bolts back, or you put your new U-bolts in, make sure you put anti-seize on the threads, because one of the things about Bastard Packs is that you'll find that, well, maybe I'm not quite happy with this. Let's do a little experimenting. So if you have anti-seize on your threads, you can take it apart easily, and you can change the configuration of your springs. If you've got air tools and you're set up fairly well in your shop, you can do it in about a half an hour. You can change out your spring and make it different for some type of four-wheeling or to carry a load or whatever you want to do. The other trick is to not cut the center pin off, even though it's long. It's not going to hit anything, so just leave it that way. So if you decide to do a little experimenting and change something up, your center bolt is there. You don't have to buy a new one. All you have to do is just undo it and put whatever you're going to put there and run the nut back down. Now, one word of caution is use a C-clamp or something when you're putting these things together, because you don't want to use that center pin to try to pull these leaves together, because they're soft. They're really not strong enough for that. They're strictly an alignment device. Now, one of the common Bastard Packs that we make is with the S10 rear spring. It doesn't matter which S10 you use, as long as it has the 4-leaf spring that has a flat leaf in the bottom. This is called a 2-stage spring. Those springs are just about perfect. They have 8 inches of free arch, and they will give you, if you use the bottom 3 leaves in your Bastard Pack, they'll give you about 3.5 inches of lift. If you cut the eyes off the main leaf and put that in, it'll give you 4.5 inches of lift, but it'll be a little stiff. But maybe you want that. Maybe you're carrying a load or towing or something like that. The other popular, well, I shouldn't say it's popular, it's one that I use, and some people have copied me and decided it's kind of a cool spring. I use the Isuzu Rodeo spring, and we have a thread on xjtalk.com called The Perfect Bastard Pack Maybe. And you can see the details with this. It has a very high arch, probably about 10 inches of free arch if you measure it. And you take the main leaf and you cut it down to be used as the number 3 leaf. Take the bottom leaf, which is thick and has a slight curvature in it, and you turn it over upside down. And you get about 5 to 5.5 inches of lift out of it. And it's a nice, soft rock spring is what it is. You can take it out in the rocks and get a whole lot of flex out of it, and it'll just flex all day for you. So it's not a load carrying spring. Don't plan on having your XJ sit level if you pack it full of camping gear. But as far as a four-wheeling spring goes, and a good riding spring on the street as well, this is a good combination to have. And like I say, we have a thread on this at xjtalk.com called The Perfect Bastard Pack Maybe. And you can see how I put this together. So you can use this with your cheap front end lift, wrecking yard parts, and you can put together a lift fairly cheaply for just a few $100. And if you are judicious with the other stuff you buy, like brake lines, use YJ brake lines and so forth, you can get together a nice lift for maybe $300-400 if you shop around.
Well, Steve finished there. I don't think he lost his thought. That's my fault for not editing that properly. But it's an opportunity for me to poke fun at Steve.
Oh no, he's still getting the hang of this whole recording and stuff like that. Just glad to hear him coming through clear and clean finally. Those Jeep tip segments of yesteryear were definitely good information. The whole cell phone thing is just not as good as what we're hearing now coming from Steve. So yeah, guys, you got to check out xjtalk.com and Steve's thread about perfect bastard packs maybe. And definitely some good information up on that thread. Lots of good pictures, tons of good information. He really spells it out, pretty much everything he just covered over in this Jeep tip segment, as well as he goes above and beyond that, even talking about different configurations, how they work, their performance, and everything else like that, and really actually even shows you with pictures what he's running and how his setup is, and of course how it's working for him. All that kind of good information, as well as thousands of other threads with useful information that you can find on xjtalk.com. I highly suggest you head over there and go check that stuff out.
Well, Josh, we have a caller. As promised, we were going to kind of leave this thing open so that we could give away our final You Bought and What prize, which is a Amazon gift certificate. We're going to try going to the phone again, and I think it's the same guy. It's from the same area code. Let's see. Just click this little thing here, and who we got on the phone?
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's Mark.
Mark, hey, Mark, where are you located?
I'm from Jersey.
Excellent. Now, this is the critical part. What's a phrase that pays?
Yeah, green Jeeps are okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, I don't have a bell, but I got this. Something left over.
Next best thing.
Something left over from Thanksgiving. Hey, Mark, thanks for sticking with us. I was a little concerned that it was a Skype issue that we were having, and the problem was on our side. But I see you called in from another number, assuming that was you that called in the first time. Was that a cell phone you were on before?
Yeah, good old AT&T.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Failed me again.
Yeah, you guys have some nasty weather out there. I'm sure that probably plays into it a little bit. That and, calling clear across the nation, that's got to have something to do with it as well. Well, congratulations, Mark. Our last final You Bought and What prize. You got a $31.95 Amazon gift card coming your way. Really appreciate you tuning in and really appreciate you playing along. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for being there and watching the show tonight. And is this your first show, or have you been watching the shows, listening to the podcast? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's first time caller. I watch you guys every week. Yeah, I appreciate what you guys do. I think we all do. I have to say, the red Jeeps are sexy, though.
Hey. All right.
Well, let me ask you. While I've got an agreeable listener here, how do you feel about black Jeeps?
Oh.
I'll
Okay.
stick with the red.
Do you have a red Jeep yourself?
Yes, I do. 89.
89. Wow, way back. How do you like that engine? I mean, have you compared it with an HO, or do you like the Renix?
I did have a green 95. I haven't had any issues with it. Unfortunately, last winter, a drunk ran into me, flipped it upside down onto its roof, 4 feet of water.
Oh, my goodness.
Flipped it back, drained the oil a couple times, and ran like a champ.
How were you after that? Did you make it okay? Any personal damage?
Yeah, my dog and I walked away fine. A little shaken, but we walked away. That's what matters.
Well,
excellent.
That's good news. Yeah, I was going to say, if people can walk away from a train wreck in a Cherokee, then I think that getting flopped on your roof. I mean, even at 4 feet of water, though, that's kind of scary. Right there. That's not good, especially in winter in Jersey. Man, that had to have been one hell of an experience.
On the trail or off the trail.
Oh, boy.
I had a welder go from the back of the truck right through the windshield.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, no fun there. So your red Cherokee, your 89, is it built up? Have you got a lift on it? Can you tell us briefly a little bit about the Cherokee you have now?
It has 4 88 gears, 2 Aussie lockers, 4.5-inch lift, and 35.
Outstanding. Are you a member on xjtalk.com?
Yep.
Outstanding. Great. Well, love to see some pictures of that. Can you share your username on the forum?
Yeah, it's Cartman 4241.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I saw you in the chat or on the comment section on the YouTube channel earlier. So glad you're chiming in there, guys. Make sure you guys head over to xjtalk.com and check out Cartman 4241 and his 89 built up Cherokee. Looking forward to seeing some pictures of that, Mark. I'll be sure to look you up and say hi on the forum.
Yeah, Mark, thanks a lot. Hang in there. We're going to get your information so we can get that gift certificate to you, and we're just going to wrap up the show here. Well, guys, that's another show. Episode 111 is done, and I don't want to say flushed. I guess I'm still thinking about that little commercial that we had, Josh.
Yeah. No, there's something I wanted to say last episode. I kind of forgot about it because I didn't write it down, and I just I got that ADD or whatever, and it slipped my mind. Guys, last episode 110 being our first show of 2014, I wanted to reach out to you guys and ask you to call our 24/7 voicemail line at 530-675-4102 and share with us your favorite moment, favorite XJ Talk Show segment, a moment, or even the episode on that voicemail line. Your favorite one of 2013. Let us know a moment that made you laugh the hardest or one that was most memorable. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, and as you guys can see, it's a lot of fun calling into the voicemail line. We even have people that record audio on their smartphones and then send it to us to our Dropbox. So there's multiple ways that you can get things to us. In fact, Steve has been doing that. He's been using his Mac laptop, his MacBook Pro, I think is what it is, to record those Jeep tips, and then he sends them to us straight to Dropbox. I get them, I edit them, and put them on the show. So if you'd like to be a part of the show, we'd love to have you, whether it's a voicemail or a segment, a Jeep tip. Get involved. We love it. It doesn't.
Absolutely.
It's not the Tony and Josh show. That's another podcast. So
I've long since said that you guys, we've got a third seat open, and we'd love to have you on the show. It's all about participation and involvement, and of course, any one of you guys out there within the reach of our voice can get in on the show as well.
Hey, don't forget about listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, which is a great app that you can stream straight to your smartphone or iPhone. And also, too, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/xjtalk. It couldn't be any easier.
That's right. And speaking of iTunes, make sure you guys head over there and give us a 5-star review and leave a comment there. And make sure you guys are leaving comments on our episodes on YouTube as well. We'd love to hear from you there also.
Don't forget to go to xjtalkshow.com and subscribe so you can get notifications whenever there's a new episode that comes out. Every Monday, actually.
That's right. Our entire episode archive is there for your guys' listening pleasure.
Later, guys. Next week, episode 112.
See you then.
All right, let's see. We got Mark back on here. Hey, Mark, you still with us?
How's it going?
Yeah, sorry about that. It's like the old radio thing where you have to cut off and move along. I think the first time that Josh and I used the conference line to record a call, I don't think Josh did it as much as I did. I just kind of will sit there and chat for forever instead of moving things along. So I kind of learned by taking his lead.
I'm sorry about my phone before. I don't know what that was about.
It doesn't matter. I'm glad that you called in. Glad you hung in there because I was just going to play crickets again.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, damn you, AT&T.
So hey, at least not T-Mobile. Honestly, I swear T-Mobile's got even worse coverage and worse service. But glad you finally made it through, Mark. I'm really happy that we were able to give something away this final go around with You Bought and What. It's been a lot of fun. And I don't know, Tony, maybe we can resurrect it, maybe for our 200th episode or something like that.
Oh, we can always bring it back anytime we want. I just, I don't think it's having the results that we were hoping for. So it's time to try something else. It's kind of the way I look at it. Believe me, I'd like to keep doing it. I did that whole promo thing to play whenever you said the button. I like that thing. In fact, I'm going to play that one more time.
There we go.
Awesome. Be the first to call in 267-507-0240, conference code 219835, and you'll win this week's Amazon You Bought and What. That's promo gold.
That is promo gold, Tony. You did a good job on that one, I got to admit.
Yeah, well, I got to do, it's probably pretty good to do something else because that means I'll have to come up with another promo or maybe you'll beat me to it. Hey, Mark, could you do me a favor? You know who I am on xjtalk.com, right?
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Send me a private message with the email address that I can use to send you the Amazon gift card. So what basically will happen is that you'll send me the email on a private message, and then I will take that email, go over to Amazon.com, buy a email gift card. So you'll get an email from Amazon with a code that you can use straight on Amazon.com to purchase something for the whatever Josh told you it was, the 31 something.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yep. No problem, Mark. Thanks for participating. Make sure you check your spam folder as well. We want to make sure that ends up getting to you and not your spam folder. So that $31.95 goes straight to you and not your email spam folder.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little slow about going in and doing setting up the gift card thing. So if you don't see anything in a week, feel free to remind me.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for listening.
How's the temperature out there, Josh?
I'm sorry, Mark. Can you say that again?
How's the temperature out there?
Oh,
it's not too shabby right now. It's actually fairly mild, but we do have one hell of a storm front rolling in later tonight. We're going to get hit with. They're saying a couple inches of rain easily and sustained winds of 45 to 60 miles per hour.
Ooh, hurricane almost.
Ooh.
Just about.
All right, Mark, we're going to...
-5 out here for a couple days.
Jeez. Well, hey, man, I want your show, but I don't want that cold, man. -5 is a bit too much for me.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, thanks a lot. We're going to get out of here, wrap this up, because Josh, it's past his Betty time.
Yeah, just about.
Same here.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was a good show. I like that.
Hey, nice little save at the end there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's always fun to be able to give things away. I have to think of something. Put your thinking hat, your giving away hat on, and let's see what else we can come up with. Something to keep it rolling.
Well, honestly, I really do like that idea that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, where we do it as a contest where the most people that you can get to call into our voicemail line and leave a message with your name in it, We tally those up, and at the end of a week or a month or whatever, the person with the most votes or the most voicemails or whatever wins. It gets the activity on the voicemail line, gives us something to play. We can pick out some of we don't have to play every single one. But we play a few of the golden ones and make a segment out of it. We make some fun out of it. And at the end we give something away. It's I think it's a win-win. We get the involvement up and running. It kind of gets the ball rolling on that sort of thing. We get some voicemails to play, and we get to give something away.
Well, I certainly like the idea of getting the more voicemails and getting more involvement with the folks. But after we've been doing this stuff together for over a year now, right? November was a year.
What? Just you and me doing this, or are you talking about the Amazon
us doing
part?
It together? No.
Oh yeah.
So and we've been hitting people for that length of time, and I was hitting them before to get them to call in, and we're not getting a lot of calls. So I'm concerned that if we make things more complex or harder to accomplish, to get the gift card or whatever it is, that it's even going to be less likely. Because right now, all that's required is to listen, call in. I mean, this is the same thing that radio stations have been doing for years. Listen, sure. Call in, and you get something. I mean, and it comes through an email. I mean, and it's money basically. You're getting money. Just listen to the show. And even at that, we've had problems giving away money. And so I'm concerned that the thing that you're mentioning sounds like a great thing when we have 500 live viewers. Because now you got somebody you got a lot of opportunities to have people interested to do with that. I think what we have to do is come up with something simple.
I see where you're going with that. Let me ask you something. Do you post up on Facebook before we do the Amazon segments? I mean, do you announce that, hey, our next episode, we're going to be giving something away?
No. I did it first, but it's something I should have continued to do, but since we didn't get a lot more interest in, free money, it was just kind of like, okay, we're doing the show. We're going to be doing the thing every other week. Be there. Now, I think it did help getting more live viewers in. It just didn't bring more. I really figured we would triple or quadruple the amount of listeners, number of viewers, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, tripling is, geez, I wish I knew the formula to, the one thing, the one segment, the one contest, the one whatever, to double, triple, quadruple listenership. I wish there was a formula out there that all you had to do was just, plug and go. But I don't know that. I don't know what it is. And
that's kind of the fun.
True. I mean, you get that discovery, you find something that works, and it's like, oh, hey, this is working. Cool. Let's keep going with that. The whole fun of discovery sort of thing. I'm with you on that regard. And honestly, I'm proud of what we have. I'm proud of what we do. I like what we're doing. It's working. Obviously, we're not losing listeners. So we're obviously doing something right.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
We just got to.
It's just damn slow. It's like watching a snail open up a mayonnaise jar that's stuck.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
There's a lot of moaning and groaning, and there's going to be a slimy trail involved.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you guys don't know, this is the post show. when we roll the music at the end, that's the end of the show. That's the actual end of the podcast, the audio portion.
Tony and I occasionally get a little too comfortable with ourselves.
Oh, that's right. I need to unbutton my pants. I forgot the show's over. So anyway, post show, and Josh and I here just kind of discussing things, and you guys are an important part of this show. I mean, there's. If Josh and I just wanted to kind of hang out and talk to each other on Skype, we could. We don't have to actually put this thing out for other people to look at and make fun of us. So you being an important part of what we're doing here, if you got some ideas for a contest, let us know. I mean, call in the voicemail. Hell, we'll put them on the show. That would kind of be an interesting thing too, Josh, where we could have folks calling in and saying, "Hey, what about this for a contest?" And we could use it or take parts of various suggestions. So, but I do think we have to keep it simple.
You and I have sort of batted around the idea in the past about an open forum roundtable discussion sort of thing. Not quite to this extent. Obviously a little bit more focused, but I like the idea of sort of asking folks for feedback or ideas. Hey, there was something that I heard on another show once, and it was something along the lines of "you produce the show." And that's what they called it, and that might be something that we can implement as well, to where we put it out there. Hey guys, we've got an open time slot. We're going to introduce a new segment to the show, and it's up to you what it's going to be. So let us know your idea for a new segment, and if we pick yours, you're guaranteed to win absolutely nothing. One of those things or something. I don't know. We'll have some fun with it or something like that. But I like the idea of opening it up to the public to give us ideas as to what to fill in the "you bought and what" part of it of things or something like that.
Somebody just messaged me on Facebook wanting me to share a show and shine. I was just telling them that the show's over, but maybe next week. I had somebody contact me. I don't think it's this person, but I had somebody contact me on Facebook chat wanting me to. No, it wasn't this person. It was somebody else wanting me to help promote traumatic head injury. He was going to be doing a Jeep Cherokee build and was going to take it around to various shows to help promote the knowledge of our soldiers with traumatic head injuries coming back home and having to go through that whole process, which I thought was great. And I mentioned to him that what he should do is post up on xjtalk.com, as long as it's not a for-profit thing. Post up on xjtalk.com, and then also too to call into our voicemail line and do a promo. Talk about what it was that's going on, and we'd be happy to play that. And I just thought I'd mention that here in the post show, that if any of you guys have things going on, whether it's Toys for Tots, around Christmas time, or any nice work, good thing that's going on that you want to promote, call into our voicemail. We do not have any restrictions on XJ Talk Show like we do on the forum, xjtalk.com. We have actual vendors that pay to advertise their things on xjtalk.com. So we really can't allow people to sell things for free, because it's just not fair for the vendors, because they're paying for that privilege. But on the XJ Talk Show, at least until we get to be extremely popular, hint, hint, you can call in to the voicemail and talk about your business, talk about what you're selling. We'll put a disclaimer on there that we don't know anything about this person, and purchase at your own risk. Doesn't mean anything good, doesn't mean anything bad. We just can't, we don't have any knowledge, so we can't say. But we can certainly play your promo. Call in that voicemail line, and you got like 3 minutes. And if you want to, you can make a nice audio production, record it on your smartphone or an actual recorder, MP3 file, WAV file. You can contact us, and we will let you give you the Dropbox information where you can upload it, and we'll play it, and it'll have beautiful sound quality, at least as good as what Josh and I sound already. So, there's various ways that you can get involved in the show and even help promote, charity events, organizations, and even business things. But I don't have the number in front of me, but I'll just play this real quick. And this is the voicemail number that you can call in.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
So I think we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Josh and I got to do our weekly promo that we've been putting into the Libsyn downloads. Hopefully, you guys aren't minding that too much. It's a quick 30-second promo that we have up on YouTube and now on Libsyn for the podcast downloads. And we always wrap up the show right before we do that. And I can tell by the way Josh is looking down at his typing that he is busily putting a script together for us to read.
Yeah, because I'm hunting pecking, guys. I cannot look away from the keyboard and type and it not look like a blind fourth grader just bashing the keyboard. So yeah, I've got to look while I type. Sorry.
So again, thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate you being there. It means a lot. It really means a lot. Not only to the folks that watch the YouTube video after the show, and all the people in the podcast. I mean, all the people that listen to the podcast, that take the time to download it, but especially you guys that are here for the live show. You make sure that you're here every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central Time, and that's like the old days where you had to be there when the show was on. So we appreciate you making the extra effort to be here when we're here. So until next week, I'll say goodnight, and we'll wrap this puppy up.
I will say adieu, and I'll see you guys next time.
And of course, I have to log in so I can stop the stream.